Hello everybody and welcome to Purple Table Tarot. My name is Robin and I will be reading for anybody and everybody who wishes to receive a reading today. If you've clicked on this video, I invite you to pick a pile. We are doing a full moon in Cancer reading, which is today, December 26th. And I will be uploading this after I finish it. First, I want to cleanse the space and the cards and the gems, and I will introduce your pile. So it's going to be a pretty quick reading. What we're looking at is the energies of what is the energy of this full moon for you. How can you release what is no longer serving you? And how can you find comfort at this time? And what important message is your intuition trying to tell you? Okay, so pile number one, we have this blue quartz, blue rose quartz, okay? I'll cover that glare. The sun has shifted and I have the sunshine coming in into the window behind me. So it's a blue rose quartz. It's very, very kind of gray and smoky, and the camera doesn't really do it justice, but it is quite like this pretty lavendery blue. It's really beautiful. I know on camera it's kind of looking a little gray, but there you have it, blue rose quartz, okay? Pile number two, we have your traditional pink rose quartz, and this is a lot pinker than it looks. Let me see if I can cover that glare. There we go. Rose quartz sphere. I chose these spheres for the pick a pile for the in honor of the full moon here. So that's pile number two, and pile number three we have ametrine, which is a combination of amethyst and citrine. Very, very powerful stone. It's gorgeous. It's deep purple, and if I were to shine a flashlight behind it, which I don't have handy, you'd be able to see this. There's like this kind of this trifecta inside of it. So this is very, very strong. This is very good for intuition, opening up the crown chakra here. This is rose quartz is really good for loving yourself, calming any kind of fire within, just to have love and compassion for yourself and others. And I'm going to say that blue rose quartz is the same. But, you know, I'm getting a feeling of that, like with this pile, there could be some shadowier aspects that one would need to have compassion for with oneself, okay? So I will go ahead and shuffle the cards for each of your piles, and go ahead and pause the video if you need to, and I will see you at your pile, okay? Okay, pile number one, if you picked the blue rose quartz sphere, this is your reading. I'll go ahead and pull the 4 cards for the full moon in Cancer, and then if I am called to clarify anything, I will do so. So the deck that I'm using today for the primary spread is made by a local artist here in Seattle, Washington, and her name is Wren McMurdo Brignac, and it says by Wren McMurdo Brignac and Emily Mundy, and it's called the Dark Days Tarot. The back of the deck has a really pretty design, and these cards are square, and this is a new deck for me. I was called to use it for this reading for sure. This is its little maiden voyage here. I think I read with it once before, but it was just a reading for myself. It's definitely not one that you do a waterfall shuffle with, given the shape. So I'm just kind of shuffling hand over hand here. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite Spirit in with so much grace and so much gratitude, and respectfully request a message, a full moon in Cancer message for pile number 1. For their greatest and highest good, please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. All right, so card number 1, we have the 10 of Cups. Oh, yeah, 10 of Cups. What is the energy of this full moon for you, the 10 of Cups? How can you release what is no longer serving you, the 10 of Wands? How can you find comfort at this time? Ace of Cups. And finally, what important message is your intuition telling you? And we have the 3 of Wands. Bottom of the deck energy. We have the Queen of Cups. Yes. Look at that. It looks like a uterus. It's beautiful. Queen of Cups. So with a lot of love and compassion for yourself and others in your heart here. So the energy of this full moon, I imagine that you're still surrounded by friends and family. If not for today, then, you know, you have the fullness of the season within you. Perhaps you just spent a lot of time with friends and family, either together or over Zoom. And even if you were not able to do that in either instance, like, you are holding them in your heart. You are holding them in your heart so strongly right now. And so that is the energy for you for this full moon, is that it's the 10 of Cups. It's like richness, abundance, love, friends, family. You know, your cup overfloweth with love and joy and community. That's beautiful. And that seems to come out like in such a perfect timing, really. And so how can you, let me see here. How can you release what is no longer serving you? We have the 10 of Wands. Now the 10 of Wands here, it's like we see in the depiction of this deck that it's like a mountain with clouds, and somebody's climbing that mountain there with all the stuff on their back, right? And as you know, the 10 of Wands is, you know, acknowledging where you are overburdened, acknowledging where you've been doing too much, and really working with yourself on letting some of that go. You know, this invites the question of, do you feel as though you've had to be all things to all people? Because wands are about action, and it's also about identity and roles that we play. And so you could feel as though you've been playing a lot of roles lately, okay? And so the invitation here in the second position is, how do you release it? Well, you evaluate and you set it down. There isn't anything complicated about this. Whatever you have to release and let go, you simply lay it down. You lay it down. And since you have been carrying so much, you take stock of, you know, your priorities and what gets to stay in your backpack to go up the mountain. The other piece that you could be considering is, well, this invitation could also be, okay, well, you'll let it go once you reach the top. If you're really determined to reach the top, if you feel like you've been working on a goal and the end is in sight, then go on ahead and keep going and lay it down when you feel the time is right, when you reach that peak. Okay? But if you have been feeling overburdened and overwhelmed, there's nothing wrong with letting a few of the things go that, may not be top priority right now. And that's okay. Okay? And so in the third position, what we have is, how can you find comfort at this time? And that's Ace of Cups. What kind of new emotional experience are you having? Has there been a new person that has come into your life? Find comfort and joy in the new emotional experiences, right? Because it seems like, it's a very strong, wonderful thing that you've had a lot of your community around you, and that's lovely. And I get the sense that this has made you reflect on what you have been spending your time and energy on, and has really helped you realize what you need to let go. And where you can find comfort in that is, well, as long as I let some things go, I'm clearing the space for other less burdensome things to come in. You can think of it as clearing the tractor beam to your happiness. I think this is beautiful. This is beautiful energy. It flows very, very well with each other here. So that's lovely. What important message is your intuition telling you? And we have the Three of Wands. So this is telling me that you're ready to step through the gateway. The Three of Wands is often referred to as like a waiting for your ships to come in. I see it a bit more active than that, whereas you've integrated the two prior to the three, okay? And now you're ready to walk through the gateway. And here we have a full moon. We have a full moon right there. Three of Wands, stepping through the gateway, integrating what you know, integrating your life lessons that you've learned from friends and family and community along the way, and other harder lessons that you have, that you're really kind of like, that you've been aware of for sure, but like now you kind of awakening to and accepting what you can and can't continue, right? And so then seeking comfort in new emotional experiences, things that feel good to you, things that feel fresh, things that feel fulfilling, all right? Things that fill you up rather than drain you. In a way in which you have taken this information, integrate it, you're stepping through the gateway, right? You're stepping through the gateway. You could even be thinking about doing some traveling here. And who knows, there could be a new emotional experience waiting for you there, or that you haven't found yet, or that you haven't met yet. Or there could be something that you do have in mind, and perhaps this Ace of Cups is at a distance from you and you're needing to travel to go there. But this is beautiful. This is beautiful energy. Very, very flowing, very rich with keeping what enriches you and releasing what doesn't, and also clearing the space for new, clearing the space for things that fill your cup, and really in the space of being ready to do that. Being ready to do that. It's an initiation. It's a stepping through the gateway of the three to work, to get to the four and onward, right? Four of Wands is stability. So, I feel like this Ace of Cups is going to be connecting to your stability and ongoing joy and happiness here. This is beautiful. I honestly don't feel like I should clarify. Maybe that's a part of it. And you do have the Queen of Cups as the bottom of the deck energy. And so that to me says just a lot of love and compassion and nurturing for yourself and the situation at hand, and for everybody that's been in your path. Let's just see. I'm going to just pull 3 cards of advice for the outcome here for this 3 of Wands, and I think I'm going to let it be at that. I might pull a couple of cards for the 10 of Wands. Maybe that can give us some insight into what it is that you need to let go. However, if you're feeling like you're well aware of what has been burdensome to you, then I imagine you know what some of those things are, but pulling cards, and it could just very well be confirmation for you. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that first. Let's clarify this 10 of Wands. What are some of the things that you need to let go? And this deck right here is by MJ Cullinane. She is another local artist from Seattle, and so I'm kind of doing like a double local independent artist spread here with their decks. But MJ is, you know, quite popular. Her decks are quite popular. It's got like the Crow Tarot, and this deck that I'm using right here is the Raven's Dream Tarot, one of the latest tarot decks that she came out with. It's beautiful. The shuffling and the cardstock is so good. So let's see here. 10 of Wands. What is it that pile number 1 needs to release? So much good energy with you. I really get the sense that you're probably already really clear on this, but okay. 10 of Wands. What does pile number 1 need to release? Nine of Pentacles. Maybe you're releasing your sense of, you know, full-on independence. 2 of Pentacles. There's some indecision there. And 3 of Wands. So this says to me, you can release this waiting game as well, okay? Because here you're stepping through the gateway, but you're not waiting for anything to show up that is going to allow you to step through. You could step through on your own, and that's what I feel is this is telling you. Like, release the need to have permission or have a sign or anybody else like, oh, I can't step through that gateway. I can't lay some of these burdens down until such and such and such, right? So that's what you're being asked to release here. And with the 2 of Pentacles, there's been a lot of juggling on your end. So anything that has been making you feel a bit off balance or is just one of the spinning plates just has to go, right? And so independently speaking, 9 of Pentacles, this reminds you of your sovereignty. Your sovereignty. You can make a decision to let any one of these wands or spinning plates go, and it's perfectly fine. So what this is saying to me is the choice is yours. The choice is yours, and to trust yourself in that process. The choice is yours, and to trust yourself in that process of what you need to lay down. And it definitely is saying that you can release waiting. You can release waiting on confirmation, or I shouldn't say confirmation. You can release waiting on permission. You don't need anybody's permission. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this Ace of Cups. Maybe what is giving you comfort? A new emotional experience. Tell us more about that, Spirit. Please. So we have the Ten of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Hermit. So what this is saying is that you can find comfort in turning inward and having time to yourself. Having time to yourself, taking stock of all the riches that you have in your life, and really, allowing the grief of any kind of endings that this year has seen, really doing a retrospective on things that have hurt you throughout time and what have you. But given that the full moon energy is very much rooted in joy and community and connection, this is like Spirit's way of saying, see what you have around you, see what you have, everything to be grateful for. And, the new emotional experience can be being glad that whatever was not needed with this Ten of Swords can be flushed out. So you could take comfort in that. Take comfort in that anything that is meant for you will never pass you by, and that you can release what has already left your life this year. Release it. And if there's still residual pain around that, grieve that. Grieve that for sure. Okay, now let's look at the Three of Wands. Three of Wands. Take comfort in your own wisdom. Absolutely. Take comfort in your own wisdom and the fact that you have so much to offer. You have so much to offer, and you are very much beloved. You are a very much beloved member of your community and your family and your friend circle. Those in your life absolutely love you. And what is your intuition trying to tell you when it comes to this gateway? Maybe your intuition has been trying to tell you, given that the Three of Wands is up here too, that you don't need permission from anybody to let anything go. Let anything down. Set anything down that's been burdensome. And I'm seeing healing here. That's what you have to take comfort in, is that you are in the process of healing. You have healed so much so far. And this gathering, this energy of this full moon is even like super boosted with love and community and connection. And if you're not around your people tonight, just call in the memories you made over the past few days, or even further than that if you didn't get a chance to be with people. King of Cups, Seven of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. So walking through the gateway, you don't have to wait for any confirmation. You can do it. That's what this is saying over here. And the Eight of Pentacles. So what is your intuition trying to tell you? Your intuition is trying to tell you, I feel like, that you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for anything. That you're spoiled for choice right now, and there's something connected to your work, to your forward movement, to what you're working toward next, that is really going to bring you so much fulfillment. It really will, because this King of Cups, that's emotional stability. That is emotional stability and love and trusting in one's own self. And letting your heart be your guide. Of course, you want to let your practicalities be your guide as well, but I see the King of Cups preceding the Seven of Cups. And sometimes with the Seven of Cups, we could feel spoiled for choice. We can also feel a little confused, like we just don't know what to choose. But this is saying that you can trust your intuition is telling you that you can trust your intuition and trust your heart. And what is it that you have a sense of mastery in? Like, where do you trust yourself the most on a very practical level, and then move towards that. You want to bring in your practicalities and what you are good at, what you have a sense of mastery over, and your higher knowing, like your emotional self, your spiritual maturity, your emotional maturity. Bring those in. When you integrate those things, you're able to step through the gateway and to make a decision. Make a decision if you're spoiled for choice on like what to do next, where to go next, whatever choices that are being presented to you. Or options, I should say, that are being presented to you. So this is a beautiful reading, pile number 1. This is really beautiful. I'm going to leave it there for the tarot portion. I'm going to go ahead and pick you the moon deck, a little oracle from the moon deck, since this is a full moon reading. I'm going to get that one. There it is. Okay. So conscious eating nourishes me. That's good. I'm going to put that next to this 10 of Cups because you see all these people around a dinner table. Conscious eating nourishes me. And I love myself completely and unconditionally. Yes, this is the healing piece. This Ace of Cups, this is you offering your own love to yourself. And that opens up your heart and opens up the gateway for more love and more choices to come in. And with this sense of stability and this support behind you, you'll have I don't know if I want to say the word easier, but like there will be a lot more ease when it comes to integrating these two energies that I spoke of before in order to make choices with whatever options are being handed to you in the coming days. Okay, so that is what I have for you. Pile number 1, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your viewership so much. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, bye. Hi, Pile 2. If you picked the rose quartz, the pink rose quartz, this is your reading. We're going to be doing a pretty quick full moon in Cancer spread here. And then we can pull some clarifiers. I'm using the Dark Days Tarot by Wren, McMurdo, Brignac, and Emily Mundy, 2 local artists in the Seattle, Washington area. It's beautiful. They have this Dark Days Tarot, and then there's this other tarot, and I think you can go to let me see the website, and I'll have it linked in the reading notes in the description box below. But you can go to darkdaystarot.com and look at what they have to offer, because they do have this Dark Days, this shadowy one that's like black and white. And then they have this other deck too that's like all colorful, and it's really, really nice. It's both, they're both square cards. But either way, that's the deck that I'm using today. And I'm also using for my clarifying deck this MJ Cullinane, the Raven's Dream Tarot. She's also a local artist in Seattle, Washington. If ever you're going to get any of her decks, be sure to order, and this goes for any independent artist, be sure to order them from their publisher, depending on who they went with, whether it was like, like Hay House or US Games or any of those other things, publishing sites, or just go to their website directly, because third-party sellers will often have counterfeit decks, and you want to be able to support the artist. Counterfeit decks steal from the artist, and you'll know that they're counterfeit because they're like a lot cheaper, and they very well may have like no guidebook to go with, and they just have some like scan this QR code in order to access the guidebook type business. But be that as it may, I am doing my best for this reading to support these two local artists, because you know what? There's more than enough to go around, and it's community over competition here, okay? Community over competition. So let's get into your reading, pile number 2. Spirit, I invite you in with so much grace and gratitude, and respectfully request a message for pile number 2 on this evening of the full moon in Cancer. What does pile 2 need to know? Please and thank you. Okay. Pile number 1 is the energy of this full moon for you right now. Pile number 1. Card number 1 is the energy of this full moon for you tonight and in the next coming days, because the energy definitely stays. Card number 2 is what is it that you need to release, or what kind of energy is helping you to release right now? Let's see, yes, hang on. How can you release what is no longer serving you? Card number 3 is how can you find comfort at this time? And card number 4 is what important message is your intuition telling you? Okay, and that wanted to come out in the reverse, but I'm just going to go ahead and read it in the upright because these cards get all wonky and turned around because they are square. But 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck is the underlying energy. Okay, so the energy of this full moon for you is the Page of Cups. So you're keeping your heart open, but not too wide open, just little baby steps, basically getting back in touch with yourself and your own sense of love and nurturing for yourself and other people. You are making small gestures to those who you are interested in, whether it be people you already know, friends, family, confidants, or even any kind of little new love interest. But given that the 3 of Swords is the underlying energy, it doesn't surprise me that you'd be more in the Page energy when it comes to cups and your emotions at this time. Now, how can you release what is no longer serving you? We have the 7 of Pentacles. So basically things that you have been investing yourself into and that have not been growing, have not been changing, and you've been kind of at it for a good long bit now. Usually the 7 of Pentacles suggests that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that we just go back to the drawing board and try to rework our plan. But given that the 7 of Pentacles is in this position of how can you release what is no longer serving you, I think that you can, with that energy, you can help better identify what hasn't been growing. And it very well may not be like, oh, well, just cut it off and abandon it. It could be suggesting to don't tend to it anymore. Don't invest into it anymore. Energetically, you could have it at the back of your mind, be like, oh, okay, well, if I leave this patch of garden right here and, this fruit begins to grow and ripen, then I'll notice it, next time I walk by this patch, this area. But, I've been working like crazy and trying to get this thing to grow, and I am not getting anything out of it. I'm not going to put anything more into it. There's this saying that says, treat it like a weed and it'll grow like a weed. So that's what I'm hearing with this. I feel like the Seven of Pentacles is an invitation for you to just pull your energy back in whatever it is that you were trying to make manifest this year, or even just most recently, anything that hasn't been growing for you. If you've been investing so much into something and then you haven't really been getting anything out of it, you don't have to abandon it completely. You just pull your energy back from it. All that is saying, cool it with the weed whacker and the plant food, and just cool it with the investment. Treat it like a weed. It'll grow like a weed. We don't put any kind of, fertilizer or anything on weeds. Weeds just appear, So I think this invitation is also for you to just focus on yourself at this time, because with the Three of Swords underlying, there's some healing that needs to take place. And I think with the Page, you're getting back in touch with yourself and your own heart here, with that. And so in the third position, sorry, I have my notes in my phone and I am opening this up. So how can you find comfort at this time? And that card is the Devil. So, perhaps you want to find some comfort in just cutting loose and being a little bit hedonistic right now. You can. Or this can be an invitation to just recognize, take comfort in that you dodged a bullet. Whatever this thing was, it's like, this is kind of a be careful what you wish for, or be glad, some of the things that we need most are unanswered prayers. Right? So whatever that you were investing in, if it didn't come to pass, take comfort in the fact that it wasn't right for you. It wasn't healthy for you. Right? Take comfort. Take comfort in, anything that is really meant for you will never pass you by. Okay? So that's what I think that's inviting us to recognize and to see here. And what important message is your intuition telling you right now? Your intuition and your important message is to just start over. Start over. Move on. Move forward. And it first came out in the reverse. So what I will say is start over, but take it easy. Take it slow. Take care of yourself, Take care of yourself and do your healing, right? Just focus on yourself. This to me says focus on your inner child. What has been wounded here? Something was very, very tender and very vulnerable. So really tending to those parts of yourself. Okay? It's like typically the Fool is like, let's go. I get the sense that this is more like, moving forward and letting things go. And we still have many moons to go before we can feel like we're in that zesty leap and the net will appear kind of energy. So this is more of a, take it easy kind of beginning, right? I like that. I like that for you. Pile number 2. And I like how you chose the rose quartz, the pink one. That's really, it's very healing. It's very nurturing. It's like tending to your own heart, tending to your heart. This all seems very straightforward to me. Let's just pull a few cards on the what is your intuition trying to tell you, because let me think. The message was what the message was. Seems quite clear to me. Let's look into the devil energy, because it's like, what do you take comfort in? Take comfort in that, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by, and what you were working so hard towards, it wasn't the healthiest thing, perhaps. Like maybe someone was wearing a mask, someone may have been wearing a mask, right? Some false mask thing. And if, pulling a couple cards on this devil energy might be able to give you more confirmation as to what this was. Because devil can really be another person, or it can even be like any kind of addiction or codependency. It could even be a full-on like internal process where it's like fears and insecurities. And I see a bunch of little fires around this figure. So that's like, I heard like tending to a lot of fires. Maybe you've been feeling like you've had to like fix other people's problems. That could be a tendency of yours, like tending to other people's fires. It's like, here we have one that's kind of raging. Here we have a teeny tiny one. These are just kind of like smoldering. If anything, it's maybe going out or just starting up. I don't know. It's kind of like, I see that this person is, maybe they have this tendency to like tend to all kinds of other people's emergencies. There's a favorite saying that I have is called, your emergency is not my problem, or your problem is not my emergency. 5 of Swords, 4 of Cups, the Hermit. Yeah, what this is saying is, you can miss me with all that. You can miss me with that shit. Yeah, you can miss me with that. This is the time. Take comfort in your healing. Take comfort in the fact that whatever this was, you see it exactly for what it is. Given this 5 of Swords, you know that there's been some deception here, some dodgy behavior, some sort of dodginess, just like really not being dealt with in a very fair manner. Conflict, high conflict. You could have been engaged with somebody who wanted to win at all costs here. And in the finish, it's like what they had to offer was just not enough. It was just not enough. And so it's like, because, and this says to me that they really weren't pouring as much into it. Whatever the situation was, you were not being offered anything that matched your contribution, your continued investment. Okay? And with the Hermit here, this is an invitation to just kind of go inward, find comfort in solace and solitude and sweet, sweet alone time. Coming from an introvert here. Take comfort in that, And this is wonderful, like with the full moon, it's like the energy is there and then it slowly wanes, right? It slowly wanes and then there's a release. So take comfort in the fact that you're releasing something that wasn't stepping up and giving you as much as you were putting into it anyway, And like I said, anything that's meant for you will never pass you by. And, sometimes there's some saying, and I'm paraphrasing, is like, some of the greatest gifts is like, God's unanswered prayers, like it's like a be careful what you wish for type thing. So it's good. You dodged a bullet here, pile number 2. You really did. And I really do believe that you're seeing that. You're just like, yeah, no, you can miss me with all that shit. Okay. Let's look at the Fool. Your intuition's trying to tell you to step back into your power that you know you have, get back into your flow. There's a new thing that you can start learning about, communicate about with people. This could be taking a new class. You're definitely taking your time as well with the Knight of Pentacles. And like I said, with the Fool, it's like this type of Fool, this rendition of this Fool card really does suggest of like a slower pace beginning. And I really like that with the Page of Pentacles for you. And then the Knight of Pentacles. So you will see, slow and steady growth here. And this is you getting back in touch with your creativity. This is the Empress. Getting back in touch with your creativity, really learning about or studying on, something that you want to bring up and out into the world here. Stepping into your flow, and with the Eight of Wands, there could be some travel, and you could also be like actively engaging and like learning about this through discussion with other people. I get the real sense that this is a time for you to like focus on what it is that you're really into and investing in that, because this is something that feeds back into your sense of self and feeds back into your expression of creativity, where then you're just kind of creating this really cool feedback loop with yourself. It's like information in, creativity out, and like really just having this good flow of learning and integrating like the new lessons and just integrating this new knowledge. This is beautiful. You have a lot of really great things coming up for you. You really do. I feel like this experience is going to help you recognize, how and where do you invest your time, and how much time do you give it. You really want to match the energy, right? You contribute, and then does the other person contribute, or the other team, or whatever it was, I think that this experience is really here to highlight, maybe even again, or for the first time, who knows, just a reminder that you don't have to overinvest, you don't have to overinvest. You match the energy. You invest as much as you want to invest. I mean, when it comes to investment, you can invest in yourself all the way as much as possible, right? When it comes to coming together with a team of people or another one person or any kind of like thing that would be giving back to you, pay attention to how often and how much that you are being poured into, okay? And if the answer is, yeah, you're not really seeing much, then no. Don't chase. And that's the thing with the Empress. The Empress attracts. She does not chase. This energy does not chase. This energy moves forward in a state of flow, and everything that's meant for this Empress, they will either create or will just flow toward them. This is the epitome of everything that's meant for you will not pass you by. Like the Empress is an open vessel, right? She's just like, yep, I got it going on, and if you're with it, great. If you're not, that's great too. Really just in the flow. And when you're in the flow, you know that it's like things feel like they fall into place a whole lot more. You're not in this headspace of stressing out on whether or not your thing is working. It's a very effortless place. And I feel like you're really stepping into that now with this next phase of what your intuition is trying to tell you. Don't chase, attract. Do not chase, attract. And how do we begin to attract? By focusing on ourselves and our own power and our own stuff that we got going on. Things that are cool, things that really inspire us. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, things that we want to grow, things that, like hobbies, interests, you know, something new, like something that's just all your own, right? And I feel like with the Eight of Wands here, it's also suggesting it's an invitation to keep your heart and mind open, because you'll be open to communicate. You'll be open to travel. Maybe you want to travel and learn new things about a new place, you know? So that's it for the tarot portion. I'm just going to pick one of these oracle cards. So I was just kind of shuffling and shuffling and shuffling while I was kind of spinning out the last parts of the message. But this is beautiful. I mean, it's a hard spot to be in. It's sad. I feel like this is pretty fresh. I feel like this is pretty fresh. But take comfort in knowing that, you know, whatever it was that you were trying to grow or invest in was not. Something better is on its way. Something better is on its way. That's why this thing didn't get off the ground or didn't grow, is because something else is coming in. That's like, you'll look back on this thing and be like, I am so glad that that didn't go the way that I was like so fixated on making it go. Because this thing that I got going on right here is like better than my mind's eye could have ever imagined. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing for you. And I'm not just whistling Dixie. That's really what's coming through. I shed habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. That really does line up, doesn't it? I shed habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. I put that over the devil energy. Bottom of the deck, we have play is my pathway to joy. Yeah. Remember to play through this. Like with this Knight of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles. Play with it. This could be like some cool new thing. Like maybe you're going to start like sculpting and like throwing clay on the potter's wheel or something like that, you know, like some sort of cool new jam. Anyways, that's what I have for you, pile number 2. I'm actually really happy for you. I see a lot of healing coming toward you, and or you actually moving towards a lot of healing. I think this is beautiful. I appreciate your viewership so much, and I appreciate all your likes, shares, and subscribes. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. Hello, pile number 3. If you picked the ametrine sphere, this is your reading. Okay. And we are going to be doing a full moon in Cancer spread. Okay. We are going to be looking at what the current energy is for you in this full moon, and what it is that you need to release, and what can you take comfort in, and what is your intuition trying to tell you. Okay, and then if I am pulled to clarify any one of those things, then I will go ahead and do so. Chances are I will, because I did so for the last 2 piles as well. But at this time, I want to go ahead and give a little shout out to these creators of these 2 decks. I'm using a couple of local artists, local independent artists here. This deck that I am shuffling, it's like in black and white, has a really cool design on the back. It's called Dark Days Tarot by Wren, McMurdo, Brignac, and Emily Mundy. Okay, if you want to learn more or get yourself one of their decks, go to darkdaystarot.com. I met this person once at a night market several weeks ago, and I just love shouting out and supporting any kind of independent artists. I think that there's more than enough to go around when it comes to lifting each other up, community over competition, and just supporting each other. Okay, so I want to take this time to invite Spirit in with so much grace and so much gratitude, and respectfully request a message for pile number 3. Please and thank you, Spirit. What does pile 3 need to know or need confirmed for them for this full moon? Very emotional full moon in Cancer. Also very good moon for divination and any kind of magical work that you want to do at this time. And the clarifying deck I should mention is the Raven's Dream Tarot by MJ Cullinane. She is also a local artist here in Seattle. Her decks are very well known. There's like the Raven's Dream Tarot and the Crow Tarot and all that stuff. So some of the best ways in which to support any kind of artist is to purchase their tarot decks from their publisher and or their own website. Because third-party sellers can often have counterfeit decks, and that's actually stealing from the artist. So just really want to put that information out there. Okay, let's get into your reading pile number 3 with the ametrine sphere. The energy of this full moon for you is the Queen of Wands. Yes, spicy. Super spicy. You know, I'm getting the sense that you're like getting your groove back, or you're really feeling yourself. Like this is a lot of passion, a lot of drive, confidence, desire, the whole 9 yards, right? So that's fantastic. Bottom of the deck energy I forgot to mention is the 7 of Wands. So, you know, in an overall energy, I feel like you could really be reevaluating your boundaries at this time and looking at ways in which to, you know, just have healthy boundaries with whatever it is that you're trying to release or trying to keep in mind for this full moon for you. And so the second position here is, let me look at my notes. How can you release what is no longer serving you? And it's the 8 of Pentacles. So focus your energy and your attention on areas of your life that you have mastery in. And you see in this picture, there's this gal, she's creating, she's quilting, she's sewing, right? She's expressing herself creatively through a sense of mastery, what she knows how to do. So this is saying, how do you release things that are no longer serving you? Focus on what does. Focus on what does, okay? Where do your strengths lie? Focus on that. And this is very much, you know, you could even be invited to just focus on your work if that's something that really feels good to you. Otherwise, you could focus on any kind of crafting projects, little things that help you feel good. You know, personally, some self-disclosure here, I'm a knitter. I love to knit. And, you know, focusing on things that you can create, that you can feel like it has a start and a finish, and then in the end you have something to look at, you have something to see that says, I did this, I made this, this is awesome, and it serves a purpose. Like it's going to keep my neck warm, or it's going to, you know, decorate my friend's wall, or whatever it is, you know? All right. How can you find comfort at this time? This says 7 of Swords. Perhaps you're finding comfort in, like, you know, just avoiding things that maybe there are things that you're just like, yeah, that doesn't need my attention. I'm just gonna be safe in my place. You know, you could also be considering, you know, how is it, like, say for instance, if you've recognized within yourself some sidestepping measures that you've taken recently to avoid a situation or to avoid confrontation or something that was in the name of self-preservation, take comfort in that whether or not those skills that you employed were maladaptive or underdeveloped or whatever the case may be, a way in which you can look at that from another angle and shift your perspective is to say to yourself, well, I can take comfort in the fact that I'm still learning, and I can also take comfort in the fact that I had my own best interests at heart because I really wanted to, this was in the name of self-preservation. It's okay that I didn't know how to handle the situation, whatever it was. And so it's okay. I'm going to give myself permission for having, avoided it in the best way that I knew how, because I didn't really know any other way yet. Something along those lines. Like, this is an invitation to be compassionate with yourself, because it would appear that right now you're giving yourself a hard time for having done that. You're kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face and really compartmentalizing all these parts of yourself, which, you're a whole person. And so take comfort in the fact that you don't have to compartmentalize yourself in order to get your point across. Okay? In order to fully show up. You can fully show up as an integrated person, and that's okay. You don't have to, cut yourself into pieces here to serve everybody, trying to be like, oh, okay, well, I'll be doing this over here. And then, I'm not doing that over there. I'm doing this over here. Like, I don't know. Like, you just be honest with yourself and with other people, and take comfort in the fact that whatever it is that you were trying to sidestep or avoid or whatever it was, that you were doing so in the name of self-preservation. Maybe it was a way in which you could get away from whatever it was, to dodge whatever it was, so you can go back to center and try to integrate yourself again. Because it would appear that maybe something kind of got away from you here. Okay? So take comfort in knowing that you're doing your very best in order to heal and reintegrate. And then so in the finish, what is your intuition trying to tell you? Your intuition is trying to tell you the Queen of Cups, right? So the Queen of Cups here, this also has to do with creative energy. This is a uterus. Granted, it's a cup, but here we are, right? This is creativity. Getting in touch with your creative center. All right, that's what your intuition is trying to tell you. Get in touch with your heart and your emotions and yourself. Develop your stronger boundaries. Cut yourself some slack here. Don't be so hard on yourself with ways in which you've attempted to cope with certain situations in the past. And this is an echo of the creative energy I was mentioning earlier, right? And which tells me that you are in alignment right now with what you're trying to do. How do you need to focus your time and energy on when you're in the process of letting something go? And that message, that invitation, was to get creative. What is your intuition trying to tell you right now? Get creative. So if you're already in the creative mode, then fabulous. You're right in alignment with yourself. And I think that you know that, because we have this Queen of Wands here, very confident, very forward-moving energy. Very forward-moving energy. And I really do feel like you're kind of going through this process of right now of like integrating yourself and really taking stock of like maybe even the past year, given that this is the last full moon of 2023. You're kind of doing a retrospect right now. Which ways, what did your boundaries look like, and how did you show up for yourself? How did you show up for people? Did you extend yourself? Did you kind of give too much of yourself, like kind of cut, bits and pieces along the way? I feel like this full moon for you tonight is really that you really are in alignment with this whole experience of, I'm going to get back in touch with myself and what I really dig and my creativity, and I'm going to, be setting new intentions and boundaries, and I don't want to stretch myself too thin anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. So you're taking comfort in the fact that you don't want to do that anymore. Cut yourself into pieces for all kinds of different people. So let's go ahead and pick some cards for this. I really like this. This is very strong. This is very strong. I also feel like with the Queen of Cups, have a lot of compassion, loving compassion and nurturance for yourself. And anything that you look back on and you're like, ooh, yeah, that was a little bit cringy. Whatever. Take accountability for whatever that was, but cut yourself some slack and give yourself some grace and loving compassion and say, well, I'm still learning and I'm feeling more confident about moving forward, And, taking accountability for things and where we may have been less than honest about something, or somebody could have been less than honest with us, and then we are giving ourselves a hard time for not being a human lie detector and calling ourselves, names, or, oh, I was so stupid, or any of that stuff. No, If anyone chooses to lie to you, it's not your fault that you didn't pick up on it. They're the one who's doing the lying. They're the ones who are deceiving the situation, okay? So your intuition is telling you to be kind to yourself. Get in touch with your creativity and be, just taking good care of yourself to imbue your spirit and your craft and whatever output with love and compassion and joy, and just, it's a gift. It's a gift that you're taking in, and it is a gift of whatever you're producing and putting out to others, for yourself and for others. So let's get more here on this Queen of Cups. Maybe some supportive energies. Knight of Wands, yes, libidinal energy. The Moon, ooh. And the Six of Swords, yeah. Moving away from stuff that does not serve you. Moving away from things that are just not, that are bringing funky drama into your life. At the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. This is a rebirth. This is a rebirth. Judgment is and we just went through this season. This Judgment, I believe, is Scorpio. Yeah, we just went through that in November. This is really poignant. It's very poignant because it's telling you with this Queen of Cups, the supportive energies is put your energy, because this is libidinal energy, right? And it doesn't mean that we're now we're just going to go find someone to hop into bed with. This is, what is my passion? What is my drive? What do I have inside of me that I want to share and put out into the world? And we have two cards here that denote creativity and even fibercraft, stuff like that. The Moon is really suggesting so, kind of like what I was discussing, what I brought up earlier, maybe doing some shadow work. There could be in this retrospective, there could be looking at, just like everything that I had said before, looking at ways in which you show up, some of the ways in which you contribute to your own fragmentation, and how do you want to become more whole? I feel as though your creativity is calling to you to contribute to your integration, to your wholeness. And the Six of Swords, basically that's saying you could miss me with all that drama. Whatever drama anyone is bringing your way, yeah, you're not feeding it any energy. You're moving away towards like just calmer waters and being guided by spirit as well. Being guided by spirit and being guided by your own inner light, because this reminds me of the hermit, okay? And the whole thing about the hermit is that there's the light that they hold, the lantern that lights the way, and that is the light inside of them. And it's their guiding light. And it's also like their star, following their star. It's like they've captured their star and their light inside the lantern. And it's all like an integrated sense of self. Like, what is it that I'm wanting to move towards and why? Where does that come from? It comes from inside of me. Where am I going with it then? I'm moving away from funky stuff that doesn't serve me anymore, and I'm using my guiding light, my inner knowing, to move me there. Okay? And here we have the moon, preceded by the moon. And tonight is the full moon. So this is and there's a moon in here too. And there could be moons all throughout this deck, because this is the Raven's Dream tarot, and there's a lot of moon imagery. But I think that there's just a powerful invitation for you to really make, like, this Cancer full moon is so powerful for any kind of divination, alchemy, creativity, just very strong for this personal self-work. And so, I see this pile number 3, this is a very strong invitation for you to do some, maybe even if you're into spellcraft, you could do some of that tonight. If you read tarot as well, you can maybe give yourself a reading, or even just pull some cards that like speak to what it is that you want to create and where you want to go, what you want to do. Do some journaling. Any kind of self-expression, I feel like, is going to be so helpful for you with this full moon. This is very cool and very esoteric and there's a lot of drive here. This is renewal energy. I like this. I really like this for you, pile number 3. I feel like you have a lot of confidence. Like, I feel like you already, like, everything that I'm telling you, I feel like you're probably nodding and being like, yep, if this is resonating with you, I feel like you already like have been reflecting on this yourself. So that's what I have for you for the tarot portion. I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of moon deck oracle cards for you. Okay, you have, I live each moment with a presence of gratitude. And there you have the creative, we have an echo here of the uterine energy. Creativity, that's a creative vessel. Gosh, this whole reading is just like create, create, create. This is fantastic. I live each moment with a presence of gratitude. Nice. Bottom of the deck. I love myself completely and unconditionally. So this is also saying, like, the moon, whatever it is that's inside you that may have been in shadow, bringing that out through your creative process and exalting it, looking at it, being thankful for it. This is very powerful. Pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all so much and your viewership and all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Okay? All right. Have a good night. Bye.